Well, we've just done another fantastic ride. Yesterday we went into Cheshire and today we've gone to Skipton again, and what a ride it's been. In fact, we found a hill that was that tough, that steep and cobbled, half of us couldn't get up it, including myself. It was a good turnout. We've got the rule of 6 plus a couple of extras thrown in, but we're all desperate to get out. We've had a fantastic time. So here's the video, and thank you for watching.
I'm a cyclist and I live in the Pennines, and over the last few years I've got to know quite a few more cyclists who also live in the Pennines, and we all share one passion, and that's to ride our bikes. So sometimes it's fast, and other times we like to have a laugh. And on every ride we like to find a cafe, because the social side is a big part of what we do. And over the years, we've travelled all over the northwest of the United Kingdom. And today we're doing just that, as we're heading out to Skipton in the Yorkshire Dales. And that can mean only one thing: it's going to be a hilly ride with some really steep climbs and some super fast descents. And not forgetting the 80-mile bike ride to Cheshire the day before. So there were some tired legs out there. So with a challenging and undulating parkour and a great little cafe, this had the making of a really good ride. So here's the video, people, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for watching. And it all started at the meeting point in our local village. Very quickly I found myself racing up the main road, like an idiot, to get the next flyby shot of the guys coming up the road. And we had a reasonable turnout. There was 8 riders, including myself, so that made it 9. And here we are now, just approaching the border of Lancashire and West Yorkshire. And from this angle here, you can see how closely we ride to each other. And sometimes the pace down this valley can be pretty quick. And so having passed through Walsden, Todmorden was next, and as you can see there, we're carrying some really nice pace. And today we was turning right in Todmorden and going down the Halifax road, where we was going to meet Mark.
I got my bike clean this morning, Owen.
Can't tell.
Silicon.
No, can't tell.
Todmorden.
Todmorden.
Todmorden. Todd. Got Phil. Mike's out. Owen. A bunch of guys over there.
Yeah. Where's Chubby? I've got some spare ones. Where's Chubby Chubs?
And we're waiting for Mark.
Chubby.
Chubby.
No, there's Chubs.
Don't like saying that.
Yeah, Chubs.
I'm not saying it.
Like dwarfs. Chubs, now what time is it?
How's your legs, Owen, after yesterday's epic ride to Knutsford?
Very nice.
Mine are a bit heavy.
I had fish and chips last night for my tea, and peas.
Oh yeah, sausage and chips, curry sauce.
And English curried mustard. Curry sauce from Mr. Andrew Gill, one of our BRBC riders, who has Wilbert's Lane Chip Shop.
Well, you've heard it here.
In the northwest.
We've been going 5 minutes, well 10 minutes, and waiting for Mark, and we're not sure we're going that way or that way. Hey, here's Mike! We've not seen each other for a bit, have we?
No, I've missed him.
Have you had your injection?
Yeah, I've had it.
Alright, that's alright then.
And so with 10 miles covered, and there's Mark, he's now joined us, and that puts the gruppetto up to 10 riders. We're approaching Hebden Bridge. We've got a nice left-hander here. Always nice to take it at pace. Bit of a blind corner, but we got round there quite safely. Mythen Road next, and then Ludden Foot.
Well, we're just passing through Mythen Road now. We've got a bit of a headwind today. It's from the north and the east. The guys are ahead. We've got a nice big climb shortly near a place called Friendly, not far from Halifax. Yeah. Hey Mark, Mike's eating a banana. You think it'll be appropriate?
I doubt that very much.
Oh look,
He can't do it, can he?
He's disgusting, isn't he? He's just filth.
Sees it normally. Can't do it, can he?
I don't know what it is with Mike and bananas.
Well, I've gone to the front. I'm out of breath now. And we're not far from Tool Lane. The guys are behind me. And we've got a big climb to do in a minute.
But before we do this climb, let's have a look at the ride today. And that's where we're based in the United Kingdom. And today's going to be a very tough and hilly, challenging ride, where we take on an absolutely wicked climb. And it's got to be one of the hardest climbs, I think, in Yorkshire, possibly in England. We're going to be cycling a 75-mile loop, or 120 kilometres, with an elevation gain of 4,438 feet, or 1,352 metres. And there's 4 factors on the ride that we need to take into consideration. And the first one is, this climb we're about to take on. It rises from the Calder Valley below, which is 300 feet above sea level, to over 1,420 feet, high up into the hills. And this area is called Wainstalls, above Oxenhope, and we'll get there via Mount Tabor. And the next section, this can be quite interesting because it's quite flat looking at the map. And this is between Keighley and Skipton. And depending on who's on the front, we can get up to some pretty good cruising speeds. And the third leg, highlighted in yellow here, is going to be undulating, and with tired legs it could cause splits within the group, as it passed by places like Barnoldswick and Colne. And the final leg is what you might call the 30-mile-an-hour bit all the way home, with that fantastic descent high above Cliviger all the way into Todmorden, and it all comes down to who's got the strongest legs, and who wants to push that little bit harder. But let's get back to the ride, where we're about to start this big climb.
We're taking a left on Blackwall Lane. Let's see what happens here. Nice tarmac. We're on Cliff Hill Lane and we're all strung out now. It's a big effort, this.
Now on a climb as steep as this, gear choice is key. And in the Giro d'Italia, if it was a climb like this, the pro peloton would change their rear cassettes. This bike's not cut out for it.
No, I'm not interested. I can't do it on a 39. It's not fun. This. I felt my legs go white cold then. Well, this is a hill I'm going to come on with a bike and do for sure and review it, but not on this today. No way, it's ridiculously steep. Not ashamed to say it.
Really, you need a 34 and a 28 on the back, ideally a 32 for this one. But on my next video, I will come back to this hill and show you how to get up it on my other bike. But we all regrouped, and here we are now on the approach to Mount Tabor, with a crossroads in not too far away. But there was still some climbing to be done. And you can see there, hands down left and right, pointing out some grids, and that's good cycling etiquette. And on this section here, we're at Warlimore Reservoir, at 430 metres above sea level. Now I was in no man's land. I'd stayed behind with a couple of the guys, and then decided to try to get up to the front, but there's a really big gap ahead, and it feels very remote up here. And I got to within about 150 metres of them, and then they crested this descent, and I couldn't bridge the gap there. On my own, I've got no chance, but I did have a good descent here, trying to read the lines. We had crosswinds. It felt pretty quick down here. I've not been down here that many times. A bit of local knowledge will always come in handy. Just get round this right-hander, and because it's a quarry area, you've got to be mindful of grit on the roads. You've also got a lot of debris in the middle of the road, so as you exit one corner to the next and you cut across it, that's where you can go flying off.
Well, that were a wicked climb over Mount Tabor, and oh, cut that bit out. So we've got Cockhill just beneath here and Howarth over there.
Where's Cockhill then?
Here.
And so having regrouped, we went down the sharp little descent on Hill House Edge Lane. Now, You could really get some speed up along here, but I do not advise it because you come to a sudden stop at the T-junction where you meet the A6033 with Haworth to the right and Cockhill to the left. And here we are now taking on this descent with that really big left-hander. Then we've got a right-hander. Looking up the road there, we've got Mark, Andy, Lee, Chris and Phil in green. Another left-hander here. And we all get around this quite safely. But you know, you've got to cut into the apex, come out wide, there's normally parked cars ahead. It does get a bit built up. Another right-hander there. There's some parked cars. We've also got pubs as well. Still bearing right. And then it gets very narrow. Always be careful coming through here. Left-hander. And it still carries on going left. And it drops down again. And then eventually there's another big right-hander before we come to a stop near the mini roundabout. And there goes Phil just making his way up the line. Again, this is quite a big right-hander this because we're carrying good speed. It's a great feeling, but you've got to be careful.
That were nice. That were a cracking little bit of descending there. That bottom half of Cockhill. Love it, and little bends are great.
Alright mate, yeah, enjoyed that.
After yesterday's ride down Cheshire.
Oh no, that was it. Whoa, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good day. Okay, we just got Haworth on our left. Making good progress, 26 miles in. That headwind's causing a problem though. So the best thing to do is get in the pack or get near the back and basically draft. And that's where you'll find Mike normally, somewhere at the back, having a good old time. And we're not far now from Keighley. We're going to pick up the A629. In fact, no, we're not on the 629, we're on Bingley Road.
I'm looking at the map there. We're still in the green area and we've got some pretty steep hills to get down. So let's enjoy this part of the ride. Well, that's not the kind of descending you want your mother to watch. And the rest of the guys are all strung out behind me. And that was a pretty sick overtaking manoeuvre they did there on me. You've got Andy in orange, Mark in black ahead at the front, and Owen in blue. We're actually going down Glenlee Lane here, on the outskirts of Keighley. And we're 29 miles into the ride. Cross Hill's next. And that dreaded level crossing.
Every time Aeon read these bloody...
So back on the road, and this is the A629. We're on the outskirts of Skipton, and we've done 38 miles. There's the signpost for Skipton, and he's on the front with Lee behind him. I'm third in line, and we are batting on. We were cruising along here at 24 and 25 miles per hour, and it felt great. You could hear the tyres on the road. It's really good when you can wind the pace up. At times you're just holding that wheel the best you can. It's a fantastic feeling. It's what cycling's all about. But here we've got to be quite dominant on the road. We've got to get across to the right hand side, and the cars do let us through as we take on this roundabout on the approach to the town centre. And it's a cafe stop next.
Well, that's 39 miles to Skipton. Just so you know, it's 39 miles to Skipton, and I'm ready now for something to eat.
50 for me, Dad.
50 for Owen.
I'm starving.
Yeah. That climb out of London Foot was horrendous, but I need something to eat. My ready breakfast worn off. I'm starving. And here's the cafe. Well, we've made it to Skipton. There's a queue outside the cafe. We can't go inside it, but we've got some nice warm sunshine on us. We can eat outside, so let's go and join them. Well, at least the sun's shining. We can enjoy our breakfast outside here with no chair. Like, look at that. You're not going to eat all that.
Oh, big boy, you've got tomatoes on yours.
Yeah, I have, yeah. Look at that bad boy.
That is a monster.
Well, I've demolished that. I can feel it as well, but it were good. Well, it's time to hit the road again. Having had a really nice full breakfast on a sandwich in Skipton, and we're going to go back via Burnley, that kind of route home. And the guys are just in front, and we're climbing out of Skipton on the road that the Tour de France came up.
So here we are now, making our way down the A59 or Skipton bypass. And after all that tea and coffee at the cafe, a few of us needed a wee, so it was time to stop, and this became quite urgent.
Right, well, that was another nature break. Can be quite common these days. Anywhere will do.
And no sooner had we got going, we were back on it again full gas, with Andy on the front, with Phil here, myself third in line, and I'm not sure who was behind us. As we approached Thorson in Craven, which is a beautiful place in North Yorkshire, and the Pennine Way passes close by. And so having taken this shot, I had to go back up the hill and get the camera, which meant I was way off the back. But fortunately, Lee stayed behind, and he didn't half tow me back, and I really appreciated it, so thank you, Lee.
Well, we're on the B6251. It's called Higher Lane, and it's very undulating, and the group's got a bit split up there. But, you know, it's a tough ride, this one today. It's not your general, I'm going to Skipton and back. It's been really hilly, quite challenging. How's that for a view?
Take two. Brilliant, Dad. Tell them where we are.
Well, just did, we're on High Lane.
What is that?
Barn Olswick's behind us. Well, we're 55 mile in, we're at Nelson. How are you feeling? I think that butt is caught up with Owen, I think. You know, that's going to slow you down, that, Owen. You're not going to eat all that.
Oh, big boy, you've got tomatoes on yours.
It does, mate. It's destroyed me.
Well, we're 61 miles into the ride. We're at Mereclough in Cliviger. The daffodils are out, the blue sky's up there, sun's shining down. What more could you want? And then we've got that brilliant descent into Tobberden coming up.
So look at the blue skies, what a fantastic road ahead, and we're getting the signal to come through on the inside from Phil. And I love this part of Tobberden, it's absolutely stunning. But moving ahead further on down the road towards Portsmouth, we're strung out more in a line. I'm just behind Andy here, and it looks like we've got Owen on the point, with Steve stuck on his back wheel. And we're coming down here probably at around 30 miles per hour. You can carry a lot of pace quite easily along here. Bearing in mind we've all got tired legs, we'll have a slight headwind. But as we make our way down here, it's always interesting to look at the pedalling. The guy on the front, in this case it is Owen, and he'll be pedalling all the time down here, putting in the effort. Look at Andy there freewheeling. I'm freewheeling at times, and that's what it's all about when you're in this line out. Eventually, the further back you go, you're basically just cruising along where you're going to put minimal effort in through the pedals. Again there, look at Andy, he's freewheeling, he's pedalling, he's just ticking the pedals over. The two guys on the front are keeping this train going all the time. And the fact that no one's coming through is a credit to Owen on the front. And to be honest, I've got the perfect excuse. I've got to be somewhere in the middle to capture all the shots, else it'd be just boring me on the front. However, we'll come back to that shortly afterwards for an action shot. Actually, at this point here, I decided to get the camera out and just give you like an insight from what it's like on board.
This is great. 25 mile an hour. Down Burnley Road, into Tobberden. Owen's on the front, really good.
But here we are now, moving further on down the road, where we get a series of bends. This is a really nice bit of tarmac to go along. I come through actually, I do make it look like I'm carrying quite a lot more pace, but then again, I've been fourth in line, resting, and we were cruising at 25 miles an hour along this section, so it's very easy to get up to 30, maybe 34, 35. And because it's quite steep here, you can work your way down. Here we are with the left-hander and then the right-hander, and there's always some bad camber on this tarmac here. There's some potholes in the middle of the road. Owen comes through, and then shortly after, we'll all kind of regroup. There's some really nice hand signals there from Owen on the left, pointing out a pothole. Now just ahead we've also got some mountain bikers, and we're going to be carrying twice the speed they are, so Owen gives that signal there, which means pull out. And you can see there the difference in speed between a mountain bike and a carbon racing bike. And who's that on my shoulder? That's Steve coming through. Andy as well. Owen's now third in line. And they've actually got the hammer down a bit more. We're actually going to be approaching a 20 miles an hour zone very shortly. And on this section here, we will be at the legal speed limit as we approach the 20 miles an hour zone. And you can normally tell by looking at us all pedalling, we're all actually working hard here. There's no time to rest or freewheel. And I must stress, we're not racing, but this is a fantastic road just to get some pace, just to feel what it's like to be in a group, working along, working hard, and enjoying your bike riding.
Well, that was a nice little descent down the road in Tobberden. How's it going, mate?
Well, that was a fantastic ride out, and I really enjoyed that final descent of the day. But on the next video, I'm in search of some redemption, so it's time to change the cassette and get the lightweight climbing bike out, where we take on that cobbled climb off the Edgehole Lane and see if we can actually pedal up it. And it wouldn't be a great ride out without a fantastic descent. And on this occasion, we did a descent into Hebden Bridge from Pecketwell. I am a cyclist and I live in the Pennines, and thank you for joining me on this one, people. And until the next time.
Well, we've made it to Skipton, and that was tough going. That climb, oh, crikey. Cut